Me and Karma here. We're on our dog walk we're out of the high grass. She keeps wanting to go out there. But what are we going to be talking about? Well, I was going to give an overview of the upcoming debates, a little bit of a, afterthought of what went on at last night's debates. Karma, cut it out. Let's go. And here's the thing. I saw some people that are often in my comments. Happy Kitty, I read your comments. And they're talking about Tulsi Gabbard being CFR. I want to say this now. Tulsi Gabbard is far, far from my ideal candidate. I mean, it's not even ballpark. Let's get that out of the way. I would say it's more along the lines of a Dennis Kucinich or a Rand Paul running, where you want at least an anti-war voice and a semi-anti-establishment voice to bring some truth to the table, when so many people out there are nothing more than military-industrial complex bootlickers. So Tulsi, let's talk about her problems. She said that in some instances torture works. She's only spoken out against the quote-unquote regime change wars. Well, all of these wars the wars on terror anyway, have been either regime change wars or attempts at regime change. And that's very evident in Syria, where she kind of backed down. I did not like that. And when I mean she kind of backed down, she put Mattis on the spot, one of the very few people, saying, do we have evidence that a chemical attack even took place? And Mattis couldn't give her any evidence. He could just say, I believe an attack took place. But even if an attack did take place, we won't be able to tell who did it for weeks and months. That doesn't stop us from sending missiles. And of course, there's her membership at the CFR. The Council on Foreign Relations is one of these large pools, one of these think tanks that globalists have utilized for years. It's a real thing. It's that's not fiction. They brag about their power. So, she's far from perfect. She is far, 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 far from perfect. But is she the best we had up there? 100%. It's not even close. You're damn right. She's the best that we had up there. It's not even ballpark. So tonight, what are the big faces and names that we're going to see on the stage? And like I said, I'm going to watch the whole thing like last night. I'm going to give a breakdown of what I think, and then we can do an AMA style broadcast where you can tell me what you thought and disagree or agree on my points. Anybody like baseball? Little baseball fields out there. Nice walk with the dog. It's a good time. We got Pete Bootlicker, aka Pete Buttigieg, and they've really, really been trying to sell that guy. He's a smart guy, but he's just another establishment Democrat that's trying to push the boundaries on what the acceptability is of the left and the President of the United States, period. That's all he is. He's not revolutionary. He's not anti-war. He's not bringing the troops home. He's not going to find a way out of Afghanistan. And I was kind of surprised at the way that, who was it? Maddow framed her question about Afghanistan, because I was going to think, hey, she's going to warmonger a little bit. She kind of stayed away from the warmongering. In fact, she said, why can't we get anybody to get these troops home? Barack Obama said he was going to get us out of Afghanistan. Donald Trump said he was going to get us out of Afghanistan. But at the end of the day, why can't we do it? And I'll tell you why we can't do it. Because the military-industrial complex is a very real thing. And this neocon globalist agenda goes beyond neocons. When I say globalism, this is a group of powerful people that want Eurasia to be theirs. And I just did the Tinfoil Hat podcast today with Sam Tripoli. It was a fun time, definitely a good time. But we talked a little bit about the quote-unquote New World Order, as I did the film Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined. And I said, listen, it's not like there's just one ideal set here. There's so many different visions, so many different visions. Samuel Zane Batten, back in the early 1900s, wrote the book New World Order, and it had a lot of similarities to what people describe today. A one world government, a one world religion. In this case, kind of like a Christian flavor of that religion, right? It was all there. A collective people working towards the goals of the state. This utopia garbage that just it's imagination land, guys. It's not gonna help. It's only going to hurt. And they can sell you that, if we all work together, we can have this outcome. But first, you have to submit. First, you need to submit to the Total Cashless Society Control Grid, which they've got a lot of people going for these days. We could talk about cryptocurrency a bit, because there's definitely some dangers in crypto. I've talked about quantum computing and the dangers there, the dangers of breaking those codes. But I've also talked about the fact that this is getting a lot of young people hip to not using cash anymore. Did a story earlier this week, I think it was yesterday, where I showed how the new Monopoly game has voice banking. It's cashless. You can't cheat anymore. What does that mean? Well, if you can't put a little bit of money aside, if you got to pay all your taxes, if your transactions are all recorded, that's going to be less for you and more for the state, period. More for those in charge. And we already know they have a different rule set for you and I than perhaps, the billionaires out there. Next, chips in our hands. Again, not far away, there are people already volunteering to do that. In Sweden, there are companies putting it into their employees. I've done those reports as well. That should alarm people. The fact that they sell this stuff as convenient and it's going to help and we need to do it, and they come at it with all different aspects. You can use your credit card, you can use your phone now, you can use cryptocurrency in your computer, etc., etc., etc. It gives you all these separate avenues to use this cashless tool. But in essence, cash was a great tool because you could put it away, you could hide it, you didn't have to be taxed on it. For instance, if you didn't want to have an inheritance tax, you could just put a whole bunch of cash away, and then when you died, your wife or your significant other could go get that and then share it. So when you're on a cashless society control grid, all of a sudden it's not, you're banned from YouTube, or you can't use PayPal, which is bad enough. It's, you know what? We're just going to shut off your bank account. You can't feed your kids. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your mortgage. So that's it. Oh, can we ban the Yodio guy? We'll ban him when we get home. We can already see he's a troll. We don't feed the trolls here, buddy. Don't you worry. So in 2019, when it's hip to be crypto, when, for instance, they were really promoting a carbon trade system over at the debates last night. And that Delaney guy, he kind of surprised me. He was pretty good. And then all of a sudden it was cap and trade. It was cap and trade. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why should I be paying for carbon? That sounds a little ludicrous. Everything emits carbon, at least everything human. Carbon dioxide you buy. You're taxed for breathing. I don't like that system. And that's another big danger of these cashless society control grids. And, forget about the chip. The chip is almost going to be, first of all, nanotechnology is so small, and RFID technology is so old, we can't even imagine what types of designer chips they already have. In fact, today, when I was on the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Sam Tripoli, I discussed how DARPA has already talked about these brain interfaces that they put at the bottom of soldiers' cortexes. It's a pretty crazy thing. So these are the times we're living in. And I guess to full circle back to the debates, I don't think that even if Tulsi Gabbard was able to get in there, she could absolutely 100% drain the swamp and change the world. We already know that the person in office who said he was going to do so was 100% unable to do it. We are closer to war with Iran than ever. Pompeo has acted like something out of a Bond villain when it comes to this. When you're on video laughing about being the CIA director and how you were trained to lie, cheat, and steal, and how there were full courses on it, and it's hilarious. And then you go to Bilderberg, unannounced, you're not on the list, but you get on a builder boat with 140 of the most elite members of the world, and you give a speech in a castle, right as the escalation really starts to heat up with Iran and the Gulf. It's just, what's just craziness. Oh, that's the world we live in. That guy was appointed, Bolton was appointed. These monsters are enabled, and it's a huge issue. Who's calling me? Stop. But, again, that's the world we live in. And with 20 of these candidates, there was a lot of bullshit put out there, and a lot of the talking points were over the top. That Inslee guy, bring in the refugees. We'll love the refugees here. Tax everybody. Carbon tax, climate change, hysteria, Russia. All nonsense. There's real issues right now. And Tulsi Gabbard is far from perfect, but she was the closest one talking to all those real issues. Now, one of the other things I'm probably going to be doing a video on today is the fact there were a couple hearings up on Capitol Hill about social media. For one was social media content monitoring. They're monitoring everything, every single thing you do on. Like, for instance, when you take 7 different selfies and you choose one to put on that app, they know you took those 7 different selfies. And they try to build an algorithm to figure out why you didn't choose the others. What was wrong with it? Did you not smile enough? Was your hair not nice enough? Were your eyes not wide enough? And so on, and build this profile on you. Then they use ACR, ASR, and AVR, that is automated content recognition, automated speech recognition, and automated video recognition, to see and listen and locate your surroundings, everything, and build a profile on you. So I'm really interested to see what the answers were of these social media companies. I believe Facebook and Google were the 2 main ones up there. But then there was another hearing about combating terrorist speech and activity, and then misinformation and hate speech all lumped together. 2.5-hour hearing on that. And that always worries me, when we're talking about misinformation and hate speech, because CNN's never been banned. Fox News has never been banned. They promote bullshit all the fucking time. All the time. And stuff that actually gets us into wars. And yet, they're combating people like me who are the non-authoritative sources. I'm non-authoritative. I'm a problem. Vox, however, who's part of the Google News Initiative, fun little program. They're part of the Google News Initiative. They're building authoritative sources. They can call out other sources and just get them banned off the platform, or if not banned, demonetized, and cut into a huge avenue of someone's revenue. And, YouTube is set up in a way where just random people can flag your content and say it's inappropriate. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's a nice Thursday walk and talk with a friend. And you're not spitting hate, and you're not spitting crazy ideas. And it's not about left or right, or being a conservative or a libtard, because it's never about those things to me. I want to bring people together. I hope you want to bring people together too. So, as I stated, I'm going to make sure to do that latest video on NSA spying on you more than you knew. Not if you're paying attention. They're track tracing and databasing everything they can. Every communication they can, 100%. So, not news to those paying attention, but more information is leaked. We're going to be doing that. And like I said, from 9 to 11, I'm going to be watching the entire debate, taking notes, giving my roundup of that, and then doing an AMA while we do that, and ask me anything. So please, if you're interested, watch the debates. Join me live. We'll be putting that broadcast out there and discussing Joey Biden. Peter Bootlicker's going to be in there. John Hickenlooper, the Bilderberger from a couple years ago, he's on the stage. There's Kamala Harris, a lot of those Democratic all-stars that they keep trying to sell you. So, guys, I thank you so much for your support. As you know, this is my full-time thing, and I do have a GoFundMe. We're doing it month to month. $5, $10, $1, whatever you can afford. If not, just share this material on social media, on your blog, on your website, in emails. Talk about things that bring people together. rather than drive them apart, because those are the real issues. Those are the ones that are going to affect us all. And you know what? It's not too late to stop this war in Iran. I think that if we keep vocal, and it showed me last night with that first poll with almost 40 people, 40% of the people getting behind Tulsi Gabbard, and only less than 13% getting behind Elizabeth Warren, who they gave more time to. They're obviously promoting. She's obviously establishment. They didn't want to ask her about Iran. Okay? Tulsi Gabbard, that's what people want. They want peace and they want prosperity. And that's what I want as well. So guys, thank you so much. And thank you for all those that have supported me on the GoFundMe. I will see you soon. And we'll be doing more videos today. So thanks again. Bye-bye now.